The choice for NS HoSeo is Tassadar, a very controversial pick, as he is currently 6-16 in overall GSTL scores. I think he's lost in GSTL more than any other player. They really like to send him out, no matter what, though.
Yeah, and God knows why. I certainly don't. I don't understand this choice at all, and I'm very unhappy about it. We had, as mentioned before, Kaisar in the not in the up and downs, but in the qualifier for WCS, doing very well. He played on the ID Darkstar, took down Bisu, and lost in the final against Cop. The problem that I have is that with Tassadar playing right now, it means there are two players left. One of them has to be Jagji, and then it's either going to be Kaisar or Mad Bull, I feel. I want to see Mad Bull. He went all the way to the finals in his qualifier bracket as well. He just lost barely to Dream. It was one map that was missing. So having Tassadar out there eliminates one of the two NS HoSeo players that went up to the finals in the last qualifier. And I cannot understand this choice of the coach. I cannot understand why he would do this.
Yeah, it's... you know, we've seen a lot of coaches make historical decisions like, we always send Tassadar out, we always send these same 4 players out, and we're going to do it again. That, you know, from our perspective, just don't seem to make sense if you're looking for giving the most players more exposure.
Yeah, but that's different. Like, Prime has the Fantastic Four. They are in a position where they don't have anyone else that really stands out. NS HoSeo does. They have 2 players that went to the final of their bracket. That tells you something. Tassadar, for some reason, apparently didn't even participate in the brackets. I don't know if he was sick, if he had an appointment. I have no idea why he wasn't in the bracket, if he decided to play on another server and on a different region.
That's probably what happened, I would have to guess.
But yeah, I cannot understand why you would send Tassadar out again after he lost like basically every single match where you send him out. It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's definitely lacking any sort of reason that I am knowing. But coaches make repeated decisions. That's something that I have definitely observed.
Quick shout out to Fion. He researched a little bit and he said that the last GSTL victory that Tassadar had was May 31st in 2012 against Jinro. Against Jinro. That's all that you have to know.
Against Jinro?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. That's when TL played.
Exactly. So that's all that you have to know at this point.
That was a sad day, I remember.
I mean, maybe he doesn't make it happen and takes out Ryung. God knows what can happen. But still, it's like... I like Tassadar. It's not like I don't like the player. He is a good player, but he needs to just step it up first. And now is the time when you send out those players that do good in the qualifier, if you are the coach. Mad Bull, he went to the finals for a reason. He played against Dream, a player who has done well in overseas tournaments too. A strong player, and he just barely lost him. Kaisar took out Bisu. Why not send out one of those? You're going to rely on Jagji either way later on. Tassadar can play in the next matches. He has to get his stuff together and then he's back to business. I like him and I feel that he will make a comeback, but right now he's not the guy to send out.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does something here for us, because otherwise his team is going to fall further and further behind.
We are jumping into the second match. We are going to find out what Tassadar can do against Ryung at the GSTL 2013. Hold on. Starting to the top right, the guy who killed against Startail, who's already with 1 win in this match, in a good position to do it again. It is the Terran player for Axiom-Acer.
Axiom Young.
He wants the all-kill.
Yeah, he wants the all-kill again, and he is up against the Protoss player at the bottom left of the map. Didn't win a single match against Protoss just yet in Heart of the Swarm. Lost to Keen, Gumiho, Ganji, and Sound. It is
NS HoSeo Tassadar.
Tassadar's style against Terran has been very unique historically. He likes to go into Charge Zealot Archon. He skips Colossi a lot of the time.
He likes to go into Gateway first, into GG. No, I mean... Jokes aside now, Tassadar is not a bad player. I just think that given the players in the lineup, it's not the best choice that they have. But he's a player who has a lot of experience, and he's a player who might have a build prepared that can take Ryung down. So let's just give him the chance here and see what he can do. Already with the scout on the map going to the top left, trying to find what's going on. And Ryung, he is not afraid at all. He's not concerned. He's going straight into a command center first here.
Yep, 2 games in a row, 2 different matchups, goes CC first. The Tastar is a really good player, but his strategies often rely on timings with Charge Zealots and Archons, otherwise with just 6 gateways off of 2 base after a Nexus first, pulling Stalker Rollins. That's kind of how he made his name for himself in Wings of Liberty. And over the past year, he's really kind of fallen down and down and down. He's, you know, had a terrible record in GSTL. He hasn't won since 2012, like you said, against Jinro, a player who's now retired. So he's definitely having a rough time. And, you know, if he takes this match, it would be a pretty big win for him, I would say.
Yeah, Ryung, on the other hand, I mean, he has a 60% win ratio against Protoss in offline matches, Heart of the Swarm. He took down Panic in the GSTL. That was, of course, one of the StarTale players that he defeated while performing that all-kill. In the Season 1 finals at WCS America, he lost to Hero, barely, with a 2-3, but took down Creator and MC in the GSTL this year. So pretty decent statistics here for him. Not the Protoss sniper, but definitely someone who can hold his own in this matchup.
Yeah, you know, he's definitely the favorite as far as stats goes against Tastar here. And Tastar now gets his Mothership Core out. His Nexus comes down, as you would expect, cutting a few units here to get it out just a little bit faster since he already saw the CC first. Starts his first Stalker now. This eliminates his ability to pressure directly, especially since they're in cross spawns. That probe is going up to the north, so he definitely has some potential to hide something up there. It may just make a pylon for drop spotting later.
Yep. Or we could see him just trying to hide a Starport.
Yeah.
Stargate.
That would definitely, at this point, seem more likely since he leaves the probe.
Yeah, he leaves the probe there, so Stargate and an Oracle proxy. That's what you could see there. And that is just what Tassadar does.
That is Tastar, man. That's his style. And there's the Stargate, as expected. We'll see it on screen in just a moment. You can see it on the production tab.
And that's actually the one reason why I'm so critical of his choice here, because he seems to me just one of those... Right now, it feels like he's this hit-or-miss player.
Yeah.
He goes for a build that, if scouted, is completely get crushed. If he doesn't get scouted and you get a little bit lucky, then you'll get a huge lead in the game and you might take it. And as you said, his last win was in the GSTL a year ago against Jinro. So let's see what Ryung can do against him here in the Team League now. Yeah. He has the one supply depot already to the left side, so he will see that Oracle coming in. How fast can he react?
That's the main question. He's even sending a Marine to the top left of that base. He's not going to, I don't think, see the Stargate. You know, this build by Tastar is not an all-in. It's not anything but risky. There's no heavy commitment here, so he just needs to do damage, though, to make it worth it.
Okay, we have a very interesting development here. We have the Marines walking now across the map, so the Marines could do some damage. The Mothership Core is there for the Photon Overcharge. If he can somehow sneak past that, he can do damage. But it means that those Marines are missing in the main base.
Yes.
They cannot defend. So he's waiting for a second Oracle, and Tassadar, he might be able to blindside Ryung here. And if he does that...
I just think, you know, this is so smart because the only reason he waits, I feel, is because he knows the Marines are out of position. So the longer he waits to show this, the longer the Marines may be out on the map, may even continue to attack him. I really like this, and Ryung could be in trouble. He does have a few Marines rallied at home that he can use to defend. It's all going to be about his control and his SCV pull.
Map awareness, that is what he needs to have now. He needs to see those Oracles, he needs to immediately pull the SCVs, get the Marines together, and here we go. This is the one hit that Tassadar is using and the Marines are rallied across the map. He might just get lucky here.
Yeah, this is really smart. You know, he saw the Marines in the middle of the map, goes for it here. And already Ryung is on his way back because he saw this with those depots you talked about earlier. An excellent timing on his pull here. He does not waste a second.
Yeah, immediately pulls his units off. A few of those SCVs are already gone though. The Marines are finally there. The missile turrets are immediately being built. Harvester count is 35. Oracle's moving in. And that was quite the investment that we have here for Tassadar, who goes behind this into double upgrades. He has now the map control. He has the position that he needs.
Going into a lot of gateways here. And he also saved both Oracles. He's killed 8 Harvesters in total. So this, you know, has worked out pretty well for him. And it's not over yet. He can even pick off this SCV building the bunker, forces a cancel there at the very least.
Yeah, nice. The SCV moves back, moves towards the bunker, so that he can just save it if need be. And Tassadar is following this up with another heavy attack. He's going into the Twilight Council for the second set of upgrades. He can, of course, also get Unique and Charge out in time.
Yeah, we could see just one of those Charge Zealot Archon timings I was talking about before that Tassadar is so known for.
In total supply, we have still a bit of a lead here for for Ryung. He still has all those spaces. He has the SCV count. He lost a few, and that's of course the money scan right there. The only thing that he doesn't see is the product council, but he knows that there's something very gateway heavy coming his way.
Yeah. Starts a command center after seeing this, but he has the ability to make bunkers. He already has a decent army.
That's actually the coolest reaction ever. He sees about 27 gateways, and he builds a command center.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, time to expand.
He's very confident here, and it is cross spawns. And he's got medevacs out, combat shield soon to follow his already ready stim. So I like his choice here. He wants to try to catch those oracles if he can, but so far Tassadar, of course, with the reveal on those units, will be able to see them. Charges on this way. There's that Temple Archives for Archons I was talking about, and another good reveal here. He also sees the medevacs. That's the most important part. He needs to fly away, though.
Chasing them down.
Oh, this is a huge mistake by Tassadar.
That is so cool by Ryung, though. That was really cool. Tassadar just moving in, dropping the reveal, and then he's like, okay, I'm just bringing them back to safety, it's fine. And Ryung is like, no, you stay here, right here. I'm gonna get you.
That was a huge mistake by Tassadar, and well done by Ryung. You know, if he flies away, so what? He flies away. But if he doesn't fly away, you know, you lose an Oracle, and the second one's almost dead. And this attack is coming.
Charge is completed. I cannot really understand why we only have 2 bunkers here after seeing all those additional gateways. But he has, I mean, he has here at the front. Did he see it with a, I think he saw it, right?
Yeah. He needs to make that wall tight, and this is a huge mistake as well. Wow, this is a bit weird.
The wall has to be tight, and the Archons, you know, that's a huge army for Tassadar. The supply overall is the same. The SCVs at the front trying to just go for the whole position here to work as a buffer, to make sure that first of all he can repair with all of those units, and second of all that he puts something between the bunkers and the zealots.
This is weird because Tassadar doesn't have 2-2 yet, and if he waits for 2-2, this isn't going to work. I almost would rather see him cancel 2-2, use the extra gas for a few more Archons, because this 2-2, it's awkward. It's not going to be done, and if he waits for it, it doesn't work. So if he keeps it, he needs to walk back, and he's going to get Storm and walk back. So Ryung's panicking here, but it looks like he's just going to go home and take a third.
That looks very interesting, though, having the entire army right in front of your opponent's choke point and then just walking back.
It serves as a pressure play, but definitely, you know, this is very similar to what we saw in Game 1 with Sanai's attack, where, you know, he put everything in this attack and just didn't do it.
It's a very expensive pressure play that we see here.
Yes. But Ryung is losing a lot of mine time. He made a ton of bunkers, and he hasn't been able to move his command center down. So Ryung, I would definitely put him in a lead here, but 2-2 is out. He has a huge upgrade advantage because of this.
Here we go again. He doesn't want to move into this. But Ryung is going for the Hellbats right now. Hellbats alone will already work really well, especially when they are just guarded by a few other units and can then work with the area of effect damage. We have him also going into the Maverius Reactor now, so we could actually see a couple of ghosts just in time.
That's what I was going to say. That's the one thing he really needs, ghosts, and he is going to get those. He can't really move down against this army, and look at the vision of Tassadar right now. He's got things to spot drops in every single location. The only one he doesn't see is the one Widowmine drop.
He has Storm and he expands behind it, so he takes this third base, the same base that Ryung is trying to get. Tassadar cannot attack. If he attacks into this choke point, that he's going to hang himself. Yeah. He's going to lose everything.
I really like his position though, because he's putting so much pressure on Ryung. He's also got that ability to recall. And this drop is spotted. It's only one Widowmine in that drop, so not a really heavy commitment in any way. If he gets feedback, that would of course be tragic. And the Templar's already ready.
Ryung at some point has just to walk down, and I think this is going to happen as soon as we see those additional ghosts in the game. Then he can use the EMPs against Zealots and Archons, and that would be exactly what he needs here.
Don't forget the upgrade advantage still for Tassadar, and he has quite a few Templar out. Storm is ready. He has 6 Templar on the map. Most of them have been out for a while. And Ryung has to also walk all the way across the map.
Jan is starting to just take his third base now, and Tassadar is still in the middle of the map with the vision of the Zalnaga Watchtower going into Colossi now and those upgrades. But talking about the upgrades, +3 attack is also on the production tab for Ryung. He's going to lose a medevac now.
That's one thing that's missing for Tassadar. He doesn't start his +3 attack. He can't afford it. He needs to start it, because that's the one way Ryung is going to be able to claw back into the upgrades, is to just get that +3 out a lot faster. Second Robo for Colossi coming down here, and Tassadar's had his base up for a long time. He just needs to make sure he gets that upgrade. That's the one thing that's missing. Everything else is fine about what he's doing. He also has great map vision for drops.
But still, that army that we see for Ryung here, that is so powerful, especially with those ghosts. I'm not sure. The unit, in terms of unit control, I would definitely give Ryung the advantage. So that battle is going to come down to the battle between High Templars and Ghosts.
Absolutely.
And if Ryung plays that well, and he usually does, then he should be able to take this. Here come the Ghosts, he sees them. There come the feedbacks. The Storm is not ending too much.
Great EMP. It's a terrible engagement by Tassadar and Ryung. He is crushing this.
Yeah,
I mean,
as expected.
he stimmed, and it's like Tassadar didn't expect there to really be a fight. He lost all of his High Templar. Now he doesn't have anything to deal with this army. He may just die right here and now.
That was the perfect EMP, negating all of the High Templars. And now, of course, Ryung, the one who puts on the pressure. And here is already the Photon Overcharge, but Ryung doesn't give a rat's ass. He's just moving in with everything that he has. Stims, the Time Warp is cute, but that's not going to change anything at all.
Tassadar put all of his eggs in one basket with those Templar. They were not split. He did not get storms, and the game is over. Ryung takes this game in a matter of seconds just by one good engagement. Like you said, definitely the player who's better known for micro, and he shows it here.
Yeah, shows it, takes the third base, and Tassadar is now 6 and 17, or will be 6 and 17 in a few seconds in the GSTL. We even have now, underneath the nose of the Observer, 2 additional expansions being built, +3 attack is nearly done.
Wall for the Zealots as well is in place. The units are stimmed and ready to defend.
It's getting Vikings, so Tassadar might be able to just draw this out a little bit longer with those units that he just currently built. Namely, of course, those Colossi. But no, he's even chasing the Colossi down with the Via units. He doesn't even need the Vikings.
Good hits here on the Colossi.
Maybe a little bit too keen on taking down the Colossi.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. The Zealots still actually going on those command centers as well during this time.
Okay, what was that from Ryung just now? That was him throwing his army at the bottom left away.
He didn't have to do that, you know. He already has the better economy.
Yeah, he killed the third base. He killed the entire army. So why do that? I don't understand this decision.
Maybe he just was a little bit flustered by these Zealots.
Maybe he was busy to the top right and didn't see that was happening. That's the only thing that I can come up with.
But now, as it is, Tassadar evens the supply. He has one chance, one moment here to shine. And if he doesn't make this attack work, the game is over.
Tassadar, you cannot walk back.
He walks back, though.
Yeah, but he cannot do that. He cannot go into a third base while Ryung has already 3 bases mining and is getting base number 4 and 5 up. He will not have the time to make that work. Yes, he doesn't really have a lot of units to shield those Colossi, but what is the hope here?
I don't understand this either.
Is it really to just sit there and wait until he has a huge 200 supply army again? Every second that he waits will give Ryung a bigger advantage because of that huge income that the Terran player has now. Here we have it on screen. Thanks Legend for highlighting this.
Both players even on upgrades still. Ryung with the better attack and Tassadar with the better armor.
Ryung made that one mistake of losing his army at the bottom left. He was busy at the top right defending against the Zealots. He didn't see it, and he thought he could just move in. He couldn't, lost his army, and that was the one chance that Tassadar has where he said like, okay, I'm suddenly in a position where I might be able to counterattack. But just waiting there, this is just him dying a slow death.
Yeah, I mean, he had a timing window to maybe flip the game upside down, but he missed it. And I don't know, I think we're going to take a minute and sit right here and watch this Nexus get destroyed. The split was really nice. Ryung's now, he knows his army is like 3 times bigger. He's making Reapers as a joke. And he's just going to jump right into the main. The Reapers are going to reinforce faster. And I think that's why he's making them jokingly here. I'm not kidding. I think he's actually doing it for that reason. GG.
GG and game over.
Well, I mean, that was one engagement gone wrong for Tassadar, and then Ryung made a small mistake. Tassadar didn't do what he needed to do to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
He just sat back, waited for Ryung to have 3 more production cycles where the timing window is gone, and then he came and killed him.
3 bases against 2. I mean, it would have been difficult for Tassadar to make that happen anyways, that counter-attack, so it's not like he would have had a guaranteed win there, far from it. But like that was the only chance that he had after losing his base.
That was the much better choice than to just try to hope for Ryung making more and more mistakes.
So, after that's done with, third player, I think Jakji is going to come out last today. So, we both agree Jakji will be played today?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Jakji, we expect him today. We would think he's going to be 4th. Who do you think comes out, Mad Bull or Kaisar?
I want to say Kaisar today, but I think that might be... The thing is, Korean coaches have a tendency to repeat history. I was talking about that earlier, and I'm serious. I mean, they like to use the same players.
You mean they don't learn from their mistakes?
Yes. And for the coach, he knows Kaisar may be sitting there on the booth going, look, I know I did well in the qualifiers, but nobody was watching me really, and I get stressed out in the booth, and today it's more important for you to send Mad Bull out instead because he's not nervous. He doesn't care. He does celebrations. He's very confident.
The thing is, we have a Terran player now up, and I feel this is the one thing that they wanted to avoid, just sending him up against a Terran player. So this is probably just them trying to find maybe a Protoss opponent, because that is the matchup where Kaisar played really well. For Mad Bull, I'm trying to find his bracket so that we can just talk about who he was up against in the qualifier. He did really well there, but then lost it in the end. Mad Bull lost against Dream. He took matches against an unknown player and against Akku as well. I actually think that he would be the best choice that they have against Terran, because I would have sent him out instead of Tassadar. That would have been my choice. If you want to go for a Proto, send out Mad Bull, and then take it from there and hope that Mad Bull does it, and if not, you have to make the choice between Kaisar and Jakji next. So if Jakji suddenly says, well, against Ryang, who is a strong TVT player, I can do that, then maybe send Jakji out even before the last player.
Yeah, I could see them possibly not using Jakji today just because he's the one who won. He has more exposure. He's better known. If they want to go for not the win and just exposure for the players.
He basically already confirmed in the interview that he's going to play.
Okay.
So I think we're going to see Mad Bull today. Would have loved to see Kaisar too, but yeah.
I agree. I mean, I expect those two players. I would send Kaisar personally out at some point today, but the coach, he has, like I said, a history to repeat his choices, as most GSTL coaches do. The teams that win the most actually in the GSTL are the ones who don't repeat the same choices.
Oh, we have Sting as well. Let's not forget about Sting. But, well, there's Mad Bull.
Mad Bull is going to be the choice, as expected. He's chosen Red City as the map, and Ryung's ready to paint it red.
I'm so sad for them.
It's been a rough season. A very, very rough season. Mad Bull with 3-3 is actually one of the top players for NS HoSeo. I think he might actually have second place behind Joxy now. At a 50% win ratio. His best position is actually first.
Mad Bull is, I think, still, together with Jakji, the only player who won a map in the GSTL for NS HoSeo.
I think you're right.
And Jakji said in the interview that for him, Sanaa and Mad Bull have a lot of potential. They are the best amateur players that he tested them when they came into the team. Like when they had their test matches, he played against them and he tried to find out how skilled they are. And he says that Mad Bull and Sanaa, he thinks that they have it in them to become professional players. They are currently more amateurs than professionals, but they are constantly improving and they are doing really well. So he is convinced that they will get there at some point. And Mad Bull, he at least has the confidence to pull this off. And against Dream taking that map, and I can promise you, that was so close. Guys, if you haven't heard it yet, this guy, he played at the GSL qualifier, WCS qualifier. If you want to check out his play with a mouse, keyboard, and also screen, go to youtube.com/ColorTV. I just uploaded a first-person video where he plays against Dream in the final of his WCS qualifier bracket. That was 2 days ago. So you can check that out. Video is on youtube.com/ColorTV. And there he played quite well. Like, he can do it. But Ryang is so strong. I mean,
Ryang is on another level.
It's a different skill.
It's absolutely true. Ryang is more accomplished and more skilled than all NS HoSeo players, and arguably put together, except Jakji, who is of course a champion. Ryang almost was once. And when it comes to Team League especially, he's top tier when it comes to individual wins. He wants to continue that today. Mad Bull, can he get a leg up? That's what we're going to find out here on Red City.
I want to have him win just because I want to see his ceremony.
Would love to see it.
But Ryang, of course, he's the favorite in this match. He is just so good and he wants to show it again. Jumping into game number 3 at the GSTL Season 1 2013. Bull.